Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eso, this is EsoTarot, and in today's Pick a Heart card reading, we are going to be asking the question, what messages are there for you about your love life? I am making it that broad on purpose. I really just want whatever needs to come through to come through. No reading breakdown today because we're just gonna be doing my typical OG format, and then after that I'm gonna let the fates decide where your reading goes and what we do. So yay, fun. We have 3 different groups for you guys to choose from today. So starting with group number 1, we are going to be using the Good Tarot. I must say it is a good deck, and we have this Bloodstone Heart. And then for group number 2, we are going to be using the Rainbow Heart Tarot, and I have this amethyst cluster heart on top. And then for group number 3, we are going to be using the Key Tarot Love deck, or Key Love Tarot, one of those, and this Lapis Lazuli heart on top. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. I'm actually going to go ahead now and quickly shuffle a card for each group. I've done this in some of the readings. I haven't really seen much feedback on whether this is helpful or not, so I'm just going to kind of do it when I feel called to and just keep moving forward. But essentially I'm just going to pull a card for each group if you're having trouble picking, and see what signs, energies come through for that group. And hopefully this will help you pick. If not, it's all good. I would say if you're really truly struggling to pick, no harm in picking more than one. You should at some point know whether the reading is meant for you or not, or go with what you feel drawn to, not what you like or visually appreciate. So for group number 1, what signs, symbols, messages are related to group 1 and could help group 1 pick? Ooh, okay, so we have coffee. I think that one is very fitting. So if coffee, maybe you're drinking coffee right now, maybe you've had coffee with someone recently, or maybe you're going on like a coffee date. Maybe a coffee shop is significant, or maybe beans. Maybe beans are significant, or Chicago, thinking of like the Chicago bean. I don't know why. I was thinking of the St. Louis Arch, and then I think, well, at least I said the right thing, Chicago bean. That's actually a miracle for my brain. But yeah, I guess St. Louis as well, Missouri. Farming as well, gardening, farming. All of those, if any of those fit or help, let me know. You or someone you know could have repeating letters in their name. Cafes could be significant. This there could be something very energizing or exciting about your love life. Okay, group number 2, what signs, symbols, syncs, energies are significant for group 2, please? We have lore. Okay, so fishing could be significant. Pisces energy could be significant. Siren, mermaid energy could be significant. Bait, the word bait. You could be a master of baiting. Oh, I enjoy myself. Bubbles could be significant. Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls, another thing I'm thinking of. Hooks, thinking of that SpongeBob episode where they play hooky. Also cheese. Any of that could be significant. If anyone had to set any traps recently for any reason, That could be significant as well. Someone could be in the pest business or the extermination business. Waste management services, I don't know. Waste management services or waste management services, wink. Okay, for group 3, what signs, symbols, energies could be significant for group 3's group and help them choose? Okay, we have ginkgo, which don't know much about the plant, but I'll read from the book and see what it says. Leafy greens, green in general, the color green. I'm thinking of geckos, and I'm thinking of an insurance company that I'm not going to say because I'm not giving corporations free buzz on this channel, if I can consciously think of it and remember that. But yeah, geckos could be significant. The letter G. Ginger, also the name Gina. Let's see what it says though. Survival tradition. When ginkgo appears in a reading, it can denote that willpower and resilience will be needed for the trials ahead. It can indicate that you are capable of overcoming whatever challenge you face despite discouraging odds or your own lack of confidence. Ginkgo can also represent longevity. In a related sense, ginkgo is the card of long-standing tradition, and as such invites you to examine the traditions you observe in your own life. So yeah, tradition, honor. Ginkgo urges you to appraise traditional values and ways of doing things, keeping those that serve you and shedding those that don't. It can also denote memory. So this could be if you're needing willpower and resilience in your love life, then maybe group 3 is for you. Dealing with challenges or something like that. But that is all I have for the helping you pick group. Oh, and great, the cards weren't there. So I'm going to move those up now so that you can actually see them. And I'll hold on to them like that for our intro squad part while you're looking. So intro squad, hi, how are ya? How you doing? Intro squad, I'm just like really curious. I don't want you to like dox yourselves, but like I just am curious, like who do we have here? Like who are you? What are you about? Like you can remain anonymous, but like what do you do? Like what's something you're passionate about? What do you care about? Why are you here? Like I just would love to hear like whatever you want to share. I'm really fascinated by just like all the incredible individuals that, you know, come here to this one central place and like that we get to connect with each other. So like let me know, like what's up? What do you do? What do you enjoy? What's your favorite flavor? Anything. Just take this opportunity to talk about yourself and what you want to share with the world, whatever it is. I would love to hear it, and I'm sure others would too. And it's always fun to find fellow people that we share common interests with. So I feel really called to share that I love Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is an anime that I haven't even watched in a few years. I don't know why I'm feeling, I mean, I do love it. I don't know why I'm feeling called to share that specifically. Maybe it is for a specific reason. But, you know, I do think it poses some very interesting questions about unity consciousness and the concept of separation. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I got this snail recently, and I almost named it Gale, and then I remembered It's Always Sunny, and then I was like, maybe not. It almost makes it funnier, but I really don't want to name my sweet snail after that character. Anyway, intro squad, that's all I have for you today. Nothing too crazy, nothing too interesting. But yeah, once you picked your group or groups, go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section where I will have all the timestamps listed below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Bloodstone Heart, and the Good Tarot. This is going to be a reading on messages about your love life. So I guess whatever the universe, the beings that love you without condition, want you to know about your love life at this time. You have questions, and hopefully I have answers, but if you just want to go ahead and focus on the deck while I shuffle and set the intention that the message is most necessary or that are aligned with your highest good come through, as well as maybe confirmation or just whatever you need in order to know that the message is or isn't for you. I'll do my best to help you know that. Okay, so for my group ones, what do they need to know about their love life at this time? What messages do they need to hear? I do want to mention, I Let It Go, like the song from Frozen, has been playing in my head nonstop since I started your reading, so that might be significant. But I definitely feel like the fact that it's taking so long just for a card to even come out, and then like that Let It Go coming through, I definitely feel it's not necessarily clenched butthole energy, because clenched butthole energies, there's more like irritation behind it. There's more just like constriction and like maybe emotional constipation that you might be dealing with, where you just like feel really bottled up, emotionally speaking. I don't know though. What does group number one need to know? Yes, we have the Five of Cups. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have Temperance, which in this deck is patience. And on the bottom of the deck is the Four of Swords, but I'm not going to be necessarily referencing that unless I feel called to. But looking at your oracles now, we have the love you've shown yourself has helped you establish healthy relationships in your life. If you know your worth, others will know it too. We have Darkness with Moon. We have Obsidian. We have Joy. And we have Control. Okay, everything's in there. So the first biggest message that's really coming through here is the fact that your emotional or not the fact, but the message that your emotional fluctuations, and also like how you are thinking about your love life as a result of these emotional fluctuations, is not messing up the greater pathway that you are on when it comes to love. Now, if you are in a relationship already, I don't know if this reading is really for you. It could be if you are struggling with like emotional availability in a partnership, but it would be more so on your end, not your partner's end. Well, I guess it could be on both of your ends, but I would say there's a really big focus here, more so on those that are wanting to open themselves up to love, but just really struggling to trust in that, and maybe fluctuating back and forth between the idea of my heart is like calling me in this direction, and also my conscious awareness of being called in that direction scares the shit out of me, which actually is a good thing if we're talking emotional constipation, right? Get the pipes flowing. That's really scary, and I think there's maybe some overthinking But also, I feel like there's a very strong focus on the fact that you can't control how others treat you, and also you can't control your ability to know whether someone is going to be a promising person or if someone is going to be disappointing. I feel like outside influences have had more, I know I just said outside influences, but like outside factors have had influence over your love life in ways that I think that have kept you afraid to open up, and that are maybe not even like helpful for you as you move forward. There's a real big message here of shifting to letting go of control and really focusing on surrendering to and opening up to what within yourself you're suppressing. Like, it's the most cliche thing ever, right? But like, you know, the message around, you know, loving yourself. You know, you understand self-love conceptually and you have been practicing it. I think now where you're at though is at this place of, well, I can control this feeling of self-love when I'm not vulnerable to anyone or opening myself up in a way that leaves me vulnerable to, you know, I don't want to say potential mistreatment, but yeah, I guess potential mistreatment if you don't know someone very well, or, you know, just the potential for pain or disappointment. I feel like you have this kind of tug of war going on inside of you where it's not even just the decision to open yourself up to more love, but it's like, is it even worth it? I think part of you is quite uncomfortable right now with like, you're probably going through like some intense emotional fluctuations, and like you're either not really connected, like mentally speaking, it's like your focus is elsewhere instead of on yourself. So I feel like a lot of feeling and processing that's happening internally is maybe not even, you're not even recognizing it's happening because you're more so on autopilot or something like that. But you do notice it once like there's a big reaction or push, like you're crying all of a sudden, or all of a sudden you're just really angry or frustrated and you don't know why. And I feel like you really judge yourself for these things, when in reality, I feel like number one, it is a purging process that you're undergoing. I feel like one message right now is that you are undergoing a very powerful purging process that is releasing a lot of past disappointment, regret, and just painful feelings of rejection. And also, I think that there's something happening while you're sleeping where like, these are the words that are coming through, interpret them as you will. Templates are being rewritten and rebuilt around concepts of love and how you see yourself in a loving relationship. All of that is kind of being updated in ways that fit the person you're becoming and fit like who you are already. And they're releasing a lot of ideas around what a relationship should look like, or who you have to be in a relationship. I think that one of the, if you are trying to bring in love and you want to bring it in, but you're really afraid of opening yourself up, or not knowing, or opening yourself up and then finding out too late, like that, you know, someone changes their mind or they're not interested or they weren't being true. There's definitely a message here that your love life and love in general is not meant to be a performance. It's meant to be, you know, you're meant to be your most authentic self in that way. And I feel like there's a message here about saying like, a relationship is not like a a work situation. I feel like there's a part of you that is just so used to like masking and concealing your inner self. And maybe whoever you are, when you are kind of suppressing your natural normal, your authentic self, you know, your safe for work self, if you will, maybe that version of you gets a lot of positive response and positive reinforcement, and it might create some confusion around the idea of like, well, I'm only lovable, or I'm, you know, more attractive, or I have a better chance with others if I'm this version of myself because it's more palatable. And what's really coming through here is that that's not only not true, but it's not loving to yourself to think that way. Like, yes, we all have like different levels of filters and masks when it comes to different, you know, settings we're in and who we're around. But, you know, I think one of the biggest barriers to genuine, intimate, loving connection with another, which is what I feel you truly want, and I feel another part of you gags at, but the part of you that's gagging, and not in a good way, is only gagging because I think that it's hard, the idea of being seen and being known by someone, and then also that someone, you know, maybe not liking what they see or deciding they don't want to know you anymore, like that level of rejection just being terrifying. But that's kind of why doing your best to be your most authentic self in love is one of the most protective things you can do, because nobody's going to be waking up one day and realizing you're a different person. If anything, they're just getting to know more of you. But I feel like you look back in the past with regret in terms of like, you know, maybe you did share more of yourself and it wasn't taken well, and that could have been really painful, and I want to validate that, like, but that person, like, they were not meant for you. Like, if they couldn't appreciate you at your silliest, they don't deserve you at your most serious. And I think that for you, there's someone out there who will, or maybe does already, love all of you. For some of you, maybe you are already in a relationship, but you're very afraid to share more of yourself, but you beat yourself up like anytime you get overwhelmed, or you're dealing with like, you know, moodiness or something. It's like you're like, oh, they're gonna be done with me, or oh, it's like any ounce of humanity that you show that isn't polished or perfect or palatable, it's like the shame of that, I feel like, gets in the way of you receiving genuine connection, because you think it's too shameful to be received. And the reality is that even your idea of mess is a lot cleaner than what other people share and show. And guess what? They are still very much loved too by others in their life. I think that you're really suppressing a part of you that feels wild and out of control. And I think that part of you really needs to be free in order to just start feeling more, number one, to start feeling lighter. Number two, to project, to even just have hopeful thoughts about the future, about your love life, about your lovability. And I feel like there's this clarification here that this is not saying you need to find joy in order to find love. This is saying you need to accept what is and be gentle and compassionate towards that. And that will help you, number one, in terms of attracting love into your life, because people who are comfortable and secure with themselves tend to like make others around them feel comfortable and secure. That's attractive. But also, that gentleness and compassion you show yourself is giving you the skill to be able to handle the unknowns that you may face in terms of finding the right person, or in terms of navigating the highs and lows with someone when, you know, when you're really getting to know one another, and experiencing the full spectrum of them, like, and you might find that the more you open up, the more you connect with the right kinds of people. Like, those that are not drawn to your authentic self are doing you a favor by filtering themselves out. But I think you have this subconscious belief that you're truly unlovable, and that and I know you know that's not true. Like, it even sounds wrong just me saying it. It's like it's operating deeper than conscious thought. But it's being filtered out on its own. And so that's really a big message here. With this Four of Swords especially, sleeping is one of the best things that you can do for yourself in terms of bringing healing energy to yourself and your love life. Like, if you want to manifest the type of idea, like manifest the type of love life that you're looking for, or if you want to deepen the intimacy between you and someone already in your life, sleep more and find time for quiet stillness. I know it sounds silly, but I promise you, whatever needs to happen there, whatever is happening, it's really helping you. And I feel like you're just at this point right now where you've gained a lot of wisdom, you've grown from a lot of challenging experiences, and I think that you're at a place where you've been comfortable, and not in a bad way, in a good way, like I'm like maybe feeling a bit more balanced, and now that balance is getting chaotic again. And I think it's because of forces within you and that are moving through you that are out of your control, and you're trying to control them, and then that's creating more stress and more judgment and self-blame and frustration because you can't control it. And then it's like, well, how am I going to be like in a relationship with someone when stuff like this is happening? Because like and it's like, you just do. You could be in a relationship right now if you wanted to, and I think that you are honestly ready for one. If you're not already in one or seeing someone, I would say the only reason that relationship hasn't happened yet, if you're not, is just because you haven't found the right person yet. And that is a process that takes time. You know, we don't always meet that person tomorrow. But I do think that even just your level of openness and receptivity to the outside world would shift dramatically if you were just more comfortable with yourself and with where you're at, whatever day it is. Like, but with that being said, you're undergoing this process naturally, and I'm sure a lot of what I'm saying you already know to be true. You're just learning how to be it, because knowing and being aren't the same things. And it might be frustrating hearing some of these things because you might feel like you're failing or like you're doing something wrong, but the actual real message here is that you're not failing. You're just in the very natural and like effective process that is refining you and refining life and its circumstances to align you with the type of love that will truly be aligned with your highest good and align that person as well. We don't know where they are, and maybe it's people. I don't know your life. I don't know how many lovers you got. All I'm saying is that don't let your lows convince you that you've fallen off your path. You're just in a valley. And that's okay, because the valleys have great wisdom for you, and they also have great release, and there's a lot of reconnection to parts of you that, you know, you don't tap into very often, I would say, because life requires a lot of seriousness in a lot of different cases, and then, you know, we often don't feel very comfortable to be ourselves around most other people. I think that a time of introversion is going to be very powerful for you, where if you've been like, well, you know, I feel like I'm stuck in hermit mode, but like I really am desiring like love and connection, but I just can't bring myself to put myself out there right now. Let that serve you. If you are in a place of, I need to just be with myself right now, let that serve you. You know, if someone's trying to set you up on a blind date, if that blind date is truly worth going on, they can wait a couple months. Like, you don't need to put yourself on this timeline of pressure. And I do understand how there can be pressure and timelines around certain things, but that is a personal decision and also something that is up to you. Like, what I'm hearing specifically is that when it comes to what you desire and what you're seeking in terms of your love life, it is not going anywhere or becoming further away, or you're messing that pathway up by surrendering to and honoring wherever you're at in terms of your love life. In fact, it's the avoidance of that that might be making this whole thing more challenging, because what I would say is that the flow that you're on is perfect for you. And I think a lot of this time is about you learning that you are so lovable, even when you haven't showered in 3 days and you haven't eaten a vegetable in a week, and like you're fully feral. The real message here is that everything is okay, and opportunities to receive and give love, I think you might underestimate all the opportunities to have that experience. And like one of them is, I'm going back to sleeping, you know, inviting love to your dreams. Or you might find that you just receive really loving energy in your dreams, or have a really loving, good dream, and it just like shifts your perspective and shifts what you need. Really, this message is all to say that you're not failing at all. In fact, you're right where you need to be, and you just need to let go of what you feel like you're holding on to in order to stay put together, or in order to stay, you know, constrained in ways that make you feel safe. I think the more you let go of control in terms of how you're perceived, and also in terms of how and in terms of whether or not people reject you, the more free you'll feel and the more joyful you'll be. Because I think what you'll find is that those that reject you for being yourself, you're like, I'm actually not even really interested in them anyway. I think it's going to be quite liberating for you to realize that you can be rejected and it says nothing about you. It's just like magnets. It's like, you know, some magnets are drawn together and some are pulled apart. I mean, I don't know. It's like I haven't been to a science class in a long time. 10 years. Well, no, I had science classes in college. I haven't been to a science class that talked about physics in 10 years. But whatever the hell magnets do that repel them from each other, whatever that shit's called, you might find that those are those people anyway. And you might even waste time convincing yourself to get involved with someone who's just interested in the idea of you rather than who you really are. And I think that this is really all to say, like, you don't need to be in control of this process, because you're already, like, what you desire and seek is already true and already exists. You're literally just following the pathway to receiving it here on earth. And part of you grounding this love is learning to be okay with being present with yourself when you're having deep emotion, when you're going wild, when you're honoring your humanity. Because someone's inability to meet you with where you're at will no longer hold so much weight over you, because you know how to hold yourself. And believe me, you do know how to hold yourself. It's just uncomfortable to sit there and be present with it, especially when it's so easy to have so many forms of escapism. But you are protected. And I really do think, like, the universe will help show you when someone is not right for you, and like, you can trust your instincts. I will say, every time I have instinctually felt that like someone was not worth my time or energy, and I ignored that or I honored it, I usually got evidence for it. If anything, every time I didn't listen to that initial instinct, and I'm not even saying in ways that like backfired on me, like I still listen to that, like I feel like I've still listened to those feelings and use caution. Like, the reason why I needed that caution always comes through, and just makes me feel like so much better and like I should have trusted that. Don't feel like you need to give people the benefit of the doubt, or like just trust your instincts. This is a highly spiritual time for you, where you're allowing yourself to be, instead of try and figure out and know. And I think the more you just sit in that process, the lighter you'll feel. But honestly, you don't even really necessarily need to do anything. Just stop beating yourself up and being hard on yourself. And honestly, like, take time to look at yourself when you're like really emotional, and just like look at how lovable you still are, and how much you want to give yourself a hug, and how like a human being expressing vulnerability is not disgusting or shameful. It's in fact one of the most human things ever, and it's something worthy of care, kindness, and compassion, the same feelings it would evoke out of you if you saw it from someone else. So I feel really called now, actually. Luckily I have it right on my desk. I keep my Hermit Tarot channeled. I feel like this is from your higher self, but also I wanted to get messages from, if you guys are currently with someone that you're just like, and it's a good situation, and you're like just afraid to be more vulnerable with yourself, or afraid of like how they're going to feel about like, you know, you when you're not at your most, when you're not at 150 million%, we can see what they really want you to know. But I wanted to kind of get a message from either a current or future significant partner, and just see like what they want you to know. I feel like for a lot of you it's going to be a future thing, but for some of you, you might be sticking around because you know how to make the messages work for you, which in that case, slay. So group number 1, what does a current or future true love want them to know? Whoa, okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay, so there's a lot coming through here. I feel like this no on the back of the deck is like, no, you cannot mess this up. But I feel like whether you realize it or not, like if you think you feel your true love out there, I think you do. If there's someone currently in your life, I do think that like maybe you both struggle to be vulnerable. And so you may underestimate how much the two of you like deeply care about one another. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I am coming, trust, and I'm too afraid to talk to you. So, I think it's crazy. So if you see 111 or like 811, 818, 110, don't waste your time trying to make, like, if you're looking for a circle, don't waste your time trying to convince yourself the square you're looking at has kind of rounded edges. You know what a circle looks like, and you know what it isn't. And in terms of love, whether you're in a situation and there's fear of being vulnerable, or you haven't met your person yet and you're afraid to find them, or you're afraid you won't find them, know that there's no way you couldn't. Like, especially if you guys don't know who this is yet, I feel like you guys are already like spiritually and like materially aligned with the pathway to finding each other. And like the biggest, I'm hearing a banger of a line from a banger of a movie, Barbie Princess and the Pauper. You've probably heard of it. If you haven't, I implore you to get cultured fast. But it says, when you live your dreams, you'll find destiny. It's written in your heart. Okay. And so I feel like your guys' hearts are really bringing you towards one another. And I feel like both of you have this hesitancy to open up, and that's going to be one of the biggest challenges, is opening up to more vulnerability. But that doesn't mean that if you don't be vulnerable immediately, you're failing. It's the challenge will be how do you be having the courage to open up when you're unsure if the other person will respond in a way that allows you to feel seen. That's why seeing yourself is going to make you feel more secure in doing that after you do know them. And I do feel like that is a message coming through, but I feel like your person is out there, like, and if you already know who your person is, I feel like there's a really big message here though around how much are you focusing on how they receive you, and how much are you focusing on how you already see yourself. There's nothing dark or shameful about all of you. And the right person will love all of you, flaws and all. So I felt drawn to get the, don't ask me to say that word, oracle. Y'all know how I struggle with that word. And if you don't, leave me a pity like. Or just leave me a like anyway if you've been enjoying this. But we're just going to get a guidance card from this oracle deck and just see what the universe wants you to know moving forward about your love life. So basically, like, the biggest message though is that you're not messing anything up, and in fact, the more you just allow yourself to be chaotic, flawed, and like follow the highs and lows of what you're feeling and moving through, what energies you're moving through right now, the lighter you'll feel, and the sooner they'll leave, and the more you'll realize, oh, I didn't need to be in control of these, because you're super intelligent and you're gonna be able to know what those things are saying to you. And also, if you're lucky, you may have one of those fluctuations when you're in front of the person you're wanting to get closer to, and it is the very thing that brings you guys closer. Who knows? Okay, so for group number 1, Spirit, what guidance do you have for group 1 when it comes to their love life moving forward? What do they need to know for their highest good, please? Yeah, I just, this just makes me think of Zara Larsson's symphony song. Well, I know it's technically not hers, but she's the one singing, so like it's hers in my mind. And also, like, I feel like you and your partner, or you and like the person you're trying to bring in, like, you guys will be these vibes for sure, for sure, for sure. Okay. As all ecosystems and species on your planet cross-pollinate amongst each other to serve the collective whole, so too do you play a direct cross-link in the field of all that is. Indeed, you, the hues, are not separate entities, but a direct bridgeway to opening universal harmony. Here, in this state of no separation, rests the trait of service that naturally expresses itself through action for the benefit of all beings. The byproduct of service is that it grants one the ability to enter into a unified field of consciousness which connects you with us, these star beings that design this deck, and many other galactic species. Service is a gateway that takes one out of the trivial stresses of day-to-day living and transcends one into a greater way of being, which brings calmness and ease to the mental state. When this card arrives, there's a strong indication that your best path at this moment is to be in service. Attempt to step out of ego tendencies and open your heart to how you can bring the most love and healing to your current situation. You will find that by making a dedication to service, naturally all tensions or anxieties dissipate. Make it your intention to activate kindness and dedicate time to what makes you come most alive. Here in the field of service does one expand beyond what they need and become a self-actualized being that unifies humanity into the 5th dimension and beyond. Service is the way. And additional meanings: kindness, turning the cheek, serving, giving, rewards, heart openings, expansion, helping others, charity. So meeting someone, if there's a service-based thing you've been looking into, that might be helpful. It might also just be helpful in helping you find connections with like-minded, supportive people that will be gentle with you and show you the kindness that you deserve to give yourself. But also, I think in terms of service, one of the most serving things you can do is be gentle with yourself, and honor your humanity. But I definitely think the message here of like heart openings is really big and really powerful. And service doesn't have to be volunteering. Service can be so many different things. And sometimes service is just doing what serves you, because you taking care of yourself allows others to breathe, right? We all affect each other. And I think this is really about getting into a more unified consciousness where you understand that what serves you serves everyone. If it's truly serving, you know, we might think there's a difference between like things that truly serve us and things that are satisfying or that we enjoy. What truly serves you, which like, for example, in this case might be sleep. And I already know some of you are going to be like, not me watching this at 3 a.m. And I'm going to be like, yes, you, sleep. I feel like that's all that, like, what's good for you is good for everyone. And as long as you have that mindset, you cannot go wrong in terms of your love life. And also it will just help you be more gentle with yourself, which is really what you need to know. Because everything in your love life is, as it's going well, it's on track. And in fact, what you're experiencing is on track with everything else. You just need to be, like I said, gentle with yourself and really listen to what emerges within you and what moves through you during this time, because the wisdom you'll glean from it will be very helpful and useful in your future love life, and also will make it much less scary to have a human moment or to be vulnerable in a way that maybe you normally wouldn't, because you realize it's safe to and it's okay, and that you can be wild and someone else will be just as, like, you can howl at the moon and you'll find someone that will howl with you instead of already being in bed. So group 1, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, or at least for the first 30 seconds, or turning your ad blocker off, or leaving me a tip, or buying an extended, or leaving me a like, or commenting, or subscribing. All that's really helpful, and supports me without you having to, well, some of those things, all of those things are helpful. Thank you for supporting me. Yeah, I just feel really called to keep it moving. I love you guys so much. So y'all know how to support me. If you don't, you can find it, but I'm just grateful that you're here. I love you guys so much. I really hope that these messages resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rainbow Heart Tarot and this Amethyst Heart, this is going to be your reading on love messages about your love life that are meant for you at this time. So if you just want to go ahead and focus on the deck while I'm shuffling and set the intention that the messages most necessary for your highest good come through, that helps charge me up and make sure I get what you need to hear through. You can even ask for a sign or just something to help you know that this message is for you in general. But yeah, thank you for being here. I think I already said that, but I'll just say it again. There's nothing wrong with extra gratitude, so thank you for being here. Okay. Gonna have to flip these over off camera just because the apex of censorship necessities is in this deck. The Empress has like 11 titties or something crazy, which I love, but I do not love that I could get in trouble for it. So group number 2, please. What messages, Spirit, do you have for group number 2 when it comes to their love life? What does group number 2 need to know at this time for their highest good? Okay, we have the 8 of Pentacles, We have Judgment. We have the Four of Swords. And we have the Eight of Wands, and on the back of the deck is the Emperor. I don't know if I'm going to take that, if it's going to come in at any place. We'll just kind of wait and see. So now for your oracles, we have your love life is improving. The work you put in to improve yourself is changing your beliefs and attracting the right people into your life. We have the Worker. We have Heartbreak. We have Change with Wind. And we have Celestite. Okay. Well, first of all, you may want to watch, there might be messages for you in group 1, but there may not be. There are some overlapping messages here, but like not a ton. The biggest thing that's coming through here is your guides are commending you. I got stuck in my head for a second because I'm like, what is the, I don't know, I don't understand grammar. I've been out of school too long. My brain is rotted. Commending, but it was gonna come out as like condemnation, but condemnation is like very much is not commending. Your guides want to commend you on all that you've done to work on yourself, to grow and to improve and to heal. But I think one thing that they also want you to know is that you've done plenty of inner work and you are protected. The next step is really about going outside your comfort zone and actually just opening yourself up to others. If you are in a relationship and your love life has been kind of stagnant with them, or you feel like a bit disconnected, or you feel like you guys are in a rut, I do see a big message here about maybe expanding your social circle. Because I think that could actually be just helpful for the both of you. Like maybe you guys are spending, you know, so much time together that there's like no room to breathe. But for a lot of you, I feel like you are not in a relationship and there's a lot of hesitancy to open yourself up to one despite the desire. And I feel like in your case, your guides are really saying like, the only person really delaying evidence of solid improvement in your love life is you. You might feel a little bit attacked by that, but part of why they're coming through with this is because I think you operate under this estimation, you operate under this idea that like, if something is not manifesting or something is not happening for you, it must be your fault and you must be doing something wrong. And I feel like number one, that's not a loving way to look at yourself. And I feel like your guides are coming through to say like, hey, that's not fair. And also that's untrue. There is one thing that you are doing incorrectly, and that is just assuming that what you're trying to bring in is going to show up on your doorstep. I feel like your guides are really just saying like community, and also just opening yourself up to more connection in general, even if it's not like the most pure, distilled, truly loving social connection with others. Like you don't need to have a perfect loving connection with everyone in order to just open up and have more fun. And I feel like your guides are saying that there's change coming, and there's going to be lots of opportunities coming your way, and a lot of communication around getting out of the house, getting out of your room, getting out of your own like state of introversion, because I feel like you are almost gaslighting yourself into thinking there's more healing or there's something else that needs to be done, and when really it's like, no, I think touching grass would be beneficial here. And I think that, and it's not to say that you're like delusional, it's just that like it's a blind spot. And I think for you specifically, when it comes to love, it's very easy to trust those blind spots because those blind spots protect you from heartache or from getting hurt. And the fact that we have Celestite here and Judgment, and we just had that siren go by, Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Michael specifically are two angels that are watching over you and working with you, but there's a lot of angelic energy around your love life as well, and a lot of just benevolence and goodness that can't really reach you because you are kind of unreachable. Like in this Four of Swords, you know, like the soldier looks very comfortable, the knight looks very comfortable, you know, he's got his protective pyramid, he's got his armor with this little heart on. We love that, but I feel like you don't, it's almost an excess amount of protection. And I think that really the big message coming through here is that change is coming. Your love life is going to be seeing a significant shift, and there's a lot of angelic influence around helping and supporting you. And actually, when you open yourself up to more love, things are going to start moving really fast in a way that might kind of give you whiplash, where like last week you thought like you'll never meet someone, and then the next week it's like, oh wait, I met someone. We're gonna have to look at that. I mean, maybe that's what this Emperor on the back of the deck is about, but there is definitely a message here about needing to trust, number one, your discernment, and number two, the fact that you have such a solid set of boundaries already. The problem is not keeping people out. The problem at this point is feeling safe enough to let people in, or not, maybe not even just feeling safe enough, but willing to take the risk of letting someone in, just enough to start establishing something. You know, it's like you can invite someone over to your home, but they don't have to go up into your dirty upstairs bathroom that you still need to clean. Like they can stay in your living room that you have tidied up. Like you don't have to give them the full house tour, you know what I mean? And I feel like they do want to commend you on all the hard work you've done, but like that condemnation word, it's like, I feel like you still are very hard on yourself about the fact that mistakes you've made in your past around your love life, I feel like you really don't trust yourself to not make those again. And the thing is like the mistakes that I think you made were just like placing your faith in someone, trusting a situation, you know, giving someone the benefit of the doubt, maybe they shouldn't have. And all of that circles back to not something you did wrong, but something someone else did that caused you pain. And the idea that it's your fault that that pain exists, I mean, I guess in the sense that you're a living, breathing person with stimuli, and you're gonna sense stimuli when a phenomena happens in front of you. Like, heaven forbid you react naturally and normally to a situation that calls for it. And I think that you've reached this place of unbotheredness. You haven't. You think you have, but it's only unbotheredness when you're in your true comfort zone and like away from any external noise or anything that could trigger feelings of shame or feelings of like, oh, maybe I'm not enough, or feelings of like, oh, like what if that person isn't out there, things like that. You are more than ready to move forward is what I'm hearing. And with this Judgment card being here, like, number one, I don't usually take judgment as like literal judgment, but I do think there is a message here, especially with this Eight of Pentacles next to it, because it's such a unique Eight of Pentacles. Like, and this was a commonality that I noticed in group one as well. Like, there's a lot of external noise and voices around your love life that do not work for you. And that I would be careful about what you share and whose advice you take. I would also say, like, if you wouldn't trade lives with them, don't take their advice. Then again, if it's good advice and they're just, you know, giving it, they just don't live by it, I guess that's a different thing. But you are not the past version of yourself. And I feel like you are somebody who has had people just be really hard on them, and you don't understand why. And I feel like there's a powerful transformation coming where your angels are wanting you to get ready and be prepared, because it's going to feel like you were knocked out of the nest if you don't willingly take that jump and spread your wings and realize you can actually, you're mature enough to fly again. not mature enough, like as in literally, like, but I guess in terms of a baby bird's maturity, they've grown enough to have strong wings. And you also underestimate your own inherent goodness. And one thing I will say is that in terms of dating and meeting people and stuff, is that you will run into the challenge of, you know, maybe people that are afraid of confrontation or afraid of, like, you know, speaking their truth and afraid of saying things out of fear that they'll hurt you, because I feel like, you know, you do come across as like a very sweet person. And maybe that's, and like some of you may not agree with that, but I do feel like you've had experiences where people, out of fear of hurting you, have hurt you more by not communicating with you about like why something wasn't working or why their behavior changed. The thing is, though, is that you're not eliminating the possibility of that situation surfacing again, but you have eliminated the parts of you that would put up with that or blame themselves for that situation happening, because it isn't your fault, and it isn't your fault to begin with. And also recognizing your own agency and realizing like, oh, I can actually like confront this person. I can ask them like, what's going on? They may not tell me the truth, but at least I know I'm trying to get it. I do think that things are moving forward for you quite quickly, and I would be willing to bet, like, if you're starting to see someone that you want to let in, you know, maybe there's literally someone, I don't want to be messy and be like, maybe there's someone from your work, but they could be. I do feel like you could be receiving communication soon, or opportunities to go out, or just open up again. You're ready for that. And I think that your love life is not just about like romantic relationships. I think it's really also about like solid community and like social support that can be there for you no matter what highs and lows you're traversing in your romantic life. I feel like in general you have trouble letting people in, and I think that there are already people in your life who love you very much, who would love to be in your life more. And if you're like, nope, I'm not one of those people, well then that is partially what you are attracting. And I think as well, there could even be people in your workplace that you would get along with more than you realize. You just have to be willing to open yourself up and like have that conversation, and just continue trying. Whatever fears you have about how you picture your future and your love life, that not working out, you can safely let go of those, because anytime you're about to get there, and let's say something happens and it doesn't work out, like this infinity sign, well, it's an 8, but I've been looking at it as an infinity sign. You're gonna come back to the circumstances you need to make it happen. Like, you're not being denied what you seek. You just don't trust yourself with it yet. And the idea of something versus it being right in front of you are two very different things. It's a lot realer when it's right in front of you, and then all of a sudden, you can feel like you're prepared, and then all of a sudden, you know, someone comes in that you have feelings for, and it's like all the inner work you did goes out the window because you're scared and you don't want to be vulnerable, right? Or it could be a different reason, a different circumstance. Ultimately, though, it's okay to be afraid. You have protection and you have support, but also you have the tools to be there for yourself, and also take time for like clarity and processing. You don't have to make decisions, you know, immediately. You can take your time getting to know people. You can take your time putting yourself out there. You can say no to plans you don't want to do. You can suggest things that you would like to do instead. You know, if someone's inviting you to do something and you're like, oh, well, concerts aren't really my thing, you know, maybe ask, hey, can we meet up and do this? Like, own and honor also, in terms of building community, own and honor what isn't for you. Because you don't want to feel like a party pooper, and you also don't want to put yourself in situations that you don't enjoy or are not for you. And also those that do enjoy those things, you know, they don't want to feel bad about bringing someone that isn't enjoying themselves. So I feel like for you, considering what you actually want and what is good for you, what's good for your body, what's good for your like just overall mental health, like what you need that day, that might change. And it's okay to ask, it's okay to collaborate, and it's also okay to put yourself outside of your comfort zones and do things that are different for you. Like maybe go, like for example, the concert example, if you're not really a concert person, maybe going to a concert, you know, might actually be something that's really fun. Maybe it's overstimulating and overwhelming and you learn that's not for you. Ultimately though, I do feel like there's a lot of value in just showing up and allowing your presence to be perceived in general, because I feel like you've almost kind of it's like you've narrowed the scope of your life in ways that were necessary at the time that you did them, and they've served their purpose. They've helped refine, you know, they've helped refine like the way you live, your social circle, you know, like what you will and won't put up with, your boundaries, things like that. But now it's time to start expanding it again and opening up again. And I think there's one big important message here from your angels, is that like you didn't go through all these past experiences just to make the same mistakes again. And you need to trust yourself that you're not going to. And if heaven forbid you did, good thing you have a greater toolkit at your disposal so that you can be gentler with yourself and not shame or judge yourself and be like, okay, well, we'll learn from this. You don't need more work on yourself. You can. That's a lovely thing. We like, you know, we can always be growing and changing, but self-improvement at this point is not going to do anything in terms of radically shifting and changing what you're attracting in your love life. At this point, it's more for just for yourself. And if you have any ideas of like this sort of self-improvement is needed in order for things in my love life to work out, that is a line of thinking that is flawed and unfair to yourself, and I would really encourage you to release it, because I actually think like in terms of healing and self-improvement, it's not about you being with yourself anymore. I think what's coming up is you healing with someone, and not just like a romantic interest or romantic partner, but also just with like peers, with people that are just as flawed as you, or maybe even more flawed, and realizing like, oh, we can get along, we can have a friendship, or we can have this. Finding the value in connection, even if it's not, you know, the most perfect connection in the world, but, you know, recognizing it's just great to share time and space with someone and connect and be a social creature, especially now considering, you know, how pervasive technology is and isolation is, and like the erasure of third spaces, well, especially if you live in the United States. I don't know, I think there's a better there's a higher frequency of third spaces outside of the US, but and by third spaces I just mean spaces where people can gather and meet and they don't have to buy something. I feel like here in the US, really it's only like houses of worship that I would say, maybe parks. There's not a ton, sadly. But I think for you, your next steps are about like being seen and feeling safe to be seen. But I kind of want to go ahead and ask your guides really quickly, like, what should you be getting excited for when it comes to your love life? Because that might help you take those risks that you feel a little bit nervous about. But I think one of the biggest things you also, I don't think, realize yet is when you are starting to break the ice with new people and you have far more social skills than you realize. And it's a byproduct of all this wonderful inner work you've done. And I think it's going to be evident to you that other people have not done that to the same degree. And I think number one, it's going to be a little pat on the back moment, like, wow, I've grown a lot. And also, wow, like, most people are out here just raw dogging it with their consciousness. And like, yeah, they are. And guess what? They have every right to live, laugh, and love same way as you do. Like, the inner work that you've been doing hasn't been about making you worthy enough for these experiences. It's about you being comfortable enough with yourself to realize that you always were worthy of these experiences, but now you can exist in that space without it feeling hellish or terrifying. So what should group number 2 be getting excited for? What are the winds of change bringing them? And it's our 11-tittied queen. Okay, we gotta get a card here. So we've got the Empress. I think one thing that you are meant to enjoy is just sensual pleasure, like good food, good things to imbibe in, if that's something you choose, good music, good art, soft clothes, like beautifully scented perfumes. Like, one thing that the universe definitely wants you to be excited for is surrendering into softness in a way that doesn't make you vulnerable to harm, but rather, I feel like the work that you've been doing is just bolstering this, like, it's divine feminine energy, but like, that doesn't mean that you have to be a woman for this reading to resonate. Divine feminine energy is in men, women, non-binary people. It's in everyone. Same with divine masculine energy. I prefer to just call it yin and yang because it takes the gendered part out of it, or the gendered assumptions people have with it. But this is yin energy for you. And one thing that you can be excited for is, number one, you're going to be seeing in your physical reality dreams that you've had that maybe you didn't even realize could be possible, and they're showing up right at your doorstep. I'll give you an example. Do you want to know how I met Kino Tarot? I watched her, okay? And I remember thinking, like, this girl's so cool. Like, I wish I could be her friend. Like, not even seriously thinking, but just like, I feel like I would get along with her. Like, she's really cool. Like, April Aries. One day, I am working out and I check my phone, and who commented on my video but Kino Tarot? And I lost my shit. I was so excited, and like, you know, I fangirled so hard, and I followed her on Instagram and she followed me back, and we started DMing, and then we just never stopped, and then we got closer and closer and closer, and I didn't do anything. I didn't try to start a friendship. It just happened naturally. And like, isn't that the coolest thing ever? That is the sort of thing that you're bringing into your world. These serendipitous experiences that, you know, whether there's manifestation in it or not, I don't know. Part of me, honestly, like in my case, I always think like I had to do YouTube tarot just to like meet my besties. What I do with it beyond that is a sacred gift and a blessing as well. But yeah, man, like I couldn't imagine like not living life without my deep, wonderful friendships. And maybe that's one thing that you're bringing in is deep, wonderful friendship, especially if you haven't had it. That is a form of love that I think is so powerful and important. And maybe for some of you, this love is less about romance and more about opening yourself up to friendship love. Because I think that like friendship breakups and stuff can be super deeply painful. And maybe that's something you've been recovering from, but you're attracting the right people and experiences. And like, here's the thing as well. You don't have to be afraid of conflict or challenge when another person is healthy and willing to communicate with you. Like, there's really nothing to be afraid of here. You are healthy. You are secure. Like, you are good. You are good. Like, you are, like, trust in your goodness. Like, you are good. So get excited for the fact that the universe is going to be showering you with goodness. And if you open your eyes and tune into your sniffer, you might find that there's already goodness just right in front of you and around you that you maybe haven't even seen or noticed yet. I would also say as well, very potent, creative, and fertile time. So anything you don't want to happen or don't want to create, take precautions. But I see this swan here, and for me, I just really think like you're just giving me such swan vibes. Like just graceful and elegant, and I'm thinking about real life swans now and how aggressive they can be. And it's like, yeah, because they have a right to their space. And what else are they going to use those long ass necks for? Like, it's probably fun having a beak and defending your territory. I don't know. But you are allowed to be admired and adored and seen for your wonderful qualities. And you don't have to let people try and take that from you or gain access to you just because they appreciate you. Get excited, because life is about to be happening on your terms. All you have to do is ask or speak. Don't ask, don't get. And so speaking of, if you'd leave me a like if you're enjoying this, I'd appreciate it. Maybe subscribe, maybe comment, sign up for my email list, whatever. You don't have to. But thank you for those that do. Is there anything else that you want group 2 to be excited for, please? Yeah, I think that you could definitely be, number one, I think you should just be excited about the fact that, like, you have a level of emotional maturity that, yes, it can be exhausting being around emotionally immature people, and like recognizing that like a lot of people are like that. Yes, it can be exhausting, but when you find those people that are emotionally mature with you, which I think you are attracting that type of partner if you don't have one already, but I think in general you're attracting the types of people that are just very like deep and sensitive and nurturing and compassionate and understanding, but also have healthy boundaries, like as the King of Cups does. I feel like you want the type of love where it's earnest, and it's, you know, the outside world might make fun of it as cringe, but that's because the outside world has a severe lack of love, and they're allergic to any earnestness because they have so much self-loathing within them and fear of being perceived in a negative way that they've given all their power away to forces that would have no hold over them if they had greater security in themselves. I feel like that was kind of a roast. But I definitely think if you haven't met someone, you may meet someone soon who matches your emotional depth and who you can dive deep with. And I think one thing that I would just remind you of, you don't have to take this, but there is no rush. I feel like things will happen really quickly. It's okay to slow things down or slow the pace down. Like, this is not someone who's going to be offended or assume lack of interest. But you're not asking for too much by wanting to be held and loved and cherished and adored. And I feel like that's exactly what you're attracting into your world. And all it takes is just being willing to, you know, just step back into the world and show and be the changes that you work so hard to make. I think you'll not only inspire a lot of people, but you'll attract a lot of the right ones into your corner as well. So I just want to get a couple like channeled messages, I guess from your angels specifically. If you don't have celestite, maybe you might want to grab some. Like, I think celestite is just such a great crystal. Let me just grab it really quickly so I can show you if I have it. Yes, I do. I mean, I have it. It's just a matter of is it in the space. That I think is just such a beautiful crystal and such a soft crystal as well. It also reminds me of Mother Mary, which she is the mother of angels. So Mother Mary energy could be significant as well. But so you can pick a specific guide or a specific angel from Mother Mary, or a different divine face or source energy itself, up to you. But what does this unconditionally loving source energy and its many faces want group number 2 to know at this time, especially when it comes to their love life? Give freely, support others, give expecting nothing in return. I feel like, okay, I have a question for you guys. And I'm sorry to say this in the middle, but it's relevant to this. Like, all the time when I'm in public, I just see people and I'll just think like, oh, that person's so beautiful, or like, oh my gosh, I love their bag, or like, oh, like, I just think all these like lovely thoughts about people all the time. And I always think like, should I tell them Or would I just make them uncomfortable? Like, I don't want to make people uncomfortable, so I hold back, but I'm like, it makes me kind of sad that, like, I think all these kind things and they just leave with the wind because I don't have the balls to say them. But I'm like, you know, maybe people don't want compliments. Maybe they don't want to be perceived. So, like, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And so I just, like, hold back. What do you think? I think maybe you're like, I don't know, because I'm in the same position. But maybe it's that willingness to share a kind thought you had with a stranger that could, like, open up, you know, opportunities you don't realize, or be the start of a friendship you're not expecting. But also I feel like there's guidance here as well. Well, I guess there's guidance for both of us about give because it's pure, it's natural, it's authentic, it's what you feel, it's true. Don't give because you want it to be received well. And so I guess, like, in my case, it makes sense. Like, yeah, I would say it and share it because it's what I think, and I just want to share that with them. They don't have to receive it. Maybe they do think I'm weird. Maybe it does upset them. That's their path. That's their journey. Ultimately, I know my intentions in my heart. So as long as I'm doing my best, like, and as long as you're doing your best, that's really all we can do, right? And so I think too, when you're holding back, oh my God, speaking of Kino, the next card that came out is one that she banned from her deck. It says, unleash your passion, connect with your sexual energy, sleep naked, touch, moan, and fantasize, enjoy pleasure, which I literally did say, enjoy pleasure. It just makes me laugh that came out because I've literally seen her yeet that card and it makes me laugh. But that's part of being in a body, man. Like, enjoy that. Anything else you want to share? I am not the mind, I am not the body. I am spirit, I am light, I fall to rise. I am not the emotion, I am not a thought. And on the back of the deck, accept. It is what it is. Healing occurs naturally with acceptance. Make peace with what is. The only way out is through. And so I really feel like for you guys, there's just a message here of, like, I don't think you need to self-censor or just, like, hold back as much as you think you do. Accept the fact that, like, miscommunications happen. Not everyone will get you, but, like, you're so much more than how you, like, define yourself or perceive yourself. And I think a lot of this next phase is about realizing that you, like, the way in which you define yourself may be severely limiting, and in fact, when you open yourself up to, like, the perceptions of others, you realize, like, how warmly and wonderfully you're seen. And while that shouldn't be taken as validation, I mean, I guess you should receive goodness that's shared from others, but, like, you're not receiving that because you were trying to get it. You're receiving that because that's just who you are, and that's what you put out, and that's an important difference. So we're going to finish this reading off with a guidance card from this oracle. I haven't used this bad boy in years, so I guess it forgives me. But so I was drawn to use it today, so let's just go ahead and see what guidance it has for you. So Spirit, what final guidance do you have for group 2 when it comes to their love life, please? We have dolphin play. With 22, I just thought of this old Key and Peele sketch making fun of, or no, it's not Key and Peele. Key and Peele are in it. It's Mad TV. Oh my gosh. It's a Mad TV sketch about Deal or No Deal, and if you've ever seen it, I think his Key talks about 22. Why has it gotta be 22? That's why I was laughing. You can just look up the sketch if you want to. I mean, it's old, it might be offensive, I don't know, I haven't seen that sketch in years, it's just burned into my brain. Okay. Loosen up, unwind, and allow for the playfulness of the dolphin spirits to embrace your spirit. Entering your waters through the gateways of Sirius A, these dolphins represent These dolphin representatives have been on Earth to embed the frequencies of joy and unconditional love for all on your planet to receive. Their work on your water world is indeed priceless, and we, the star beings I can't name, not because they don't deserve to be named, but because I can't pronounce it, hold them in the highest regards for their commitment and sacrifice to ensuring the harmony of your Earth. Like the dolphins of Sirius A, joy too is our innate nature and connection to all that is. We structure our societies around play, with our young ones being brought into free-range educational systems that give a child the unlimited space to find their true soul purpose. It seems on Earth that many of the educational systems operate in an opposite spectrum, with many of these institutions imposing a worldview onto the child that cuts one from their true gifts. Fortunately, this can be rewired, but it often takes the illogical path of dedicating time to play. Let us share with you all on the wonderful medicine that is play. It brings you to the present moment, enhances creativity, intelligence, produces laughter, relaxes the spirit, takes you out of scheduling, and expands your awareness and opens you all into the heart field of multidimensionality. As this is a universe of paradox, so we need you all to get serious about play. When the dolphin play card arrives, it is a clear message that your soul is in need of play. Prioritize any actions that bring you the greatest sense of happiness and joy. Observe how your dedication to play removes all emotional blocks and cleanses your mind, body, and spirit while rejuvenating your outlook on life. The dolphins are calling, and it is time for more play. So inner child, freedom, expression, letting loose, silliness. And that's another reason why I think getting out and spending time with people is so important, because sometimes it's not always fun to play by ourselves, right? And also, one message that has been coming through as I was reading that is, what was fun for you as a child may not be fun for you as an adult, and that's okay. You've changed and grown, and like you have a different processing system. Maybe some things as a child will still be enjoyable, and you can do that, and great, you already have that figured out. But one of the things you might struggle with is you might go back to ideas of what you enjoyed as a child and assume that you're going to have that same experience, but it's not really going to hit the same. You can factor in ideas of adult play. I mean, we do have like sexuality here. I mean, like, as long as it's consensual and with two consenting, adults, have fun, play in that way. Like, if that's your cup of tea. I mean, if you're asexual or anything like that, definitely don't do that, because that's not going to be fun for you. But you can expand your idea of what playfulness looks like and what joy is for you. And so this idea is like, it's less about what actions are considered play, and it's more about the feeling you get from doing the action. So the things that are playful and fun might be sitting and chatting with a friend and having a tea party, or hanging out on a jungle gym. I don't know. You know that. All I know is group 2, that is where we're going to leave this reading. But also 222, I think, because you guys are group 2 and now we have 22. That is where I'm going to leave this reading, though. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. If you have YouTube Premium, thank you for just watching in general. And if you have ad blocker on, thank you for leaving me a tip, or for checking out an extended, or just liking the video, or just sending some goodness my way. I really appreciate it. I'm sending you so much goodness back. Links down below for how to support me in other ways if you are interested. I love you guys so much. I really hope this message resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Lapis Lazuli Heart and the Key Tarot Love, I did confirm it. It is Key Tarot Love, unless I'm wrong. That's what the packaging says. Unless I'm reading the packaging wrong. I don't think it matters though, because you're here and we're here, and if you want to find the deck, you can find it. So while I'm shuffling, if you just want to go ahead and focus your energy on the deck and just set the intentions that the messages most necessary for you come through, feel free to do that. Thank you for being here. Welcome to your reading. Okay. So for my group 3s, what messages do my group threes need to hear when it comes to their love life, please? Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords. What messages you have for my group threes, please? We have the Three of Wands. Messages you have for my group threes, please. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Messages do you have for my group threes, please? And we have the World. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Four of Wands. Some of you have overbearing mothers or mother figures, because I can confirm, like, their energy is quite I see why it's challenging to go against what they want for you. If not, though, that doesn't mean that that's all. You don't have to have an overbearing mother figure for this to be your reading, but I'm just saying the energy's in the room and I'm calling it out. Okay, as for your oracles, we have Clear Quartz. We have Fecundity with Rain. We have Healing. And we have Intuition. And actually, I want to switch these. Okay. Oh God, okay. I'm gonna read this, but a twin flame connection is in or entering your life. This could be a friend or a lover. Either way, this connection may be triggering, as they are a reflection of yourself. Okay. I don't like labels like twin flame. Doesn't mean I don't think they exist. They do. However, there's just so much weight that comes with that word, so much expectation, and so much, like, honestly, like the way that that term has been used to exploit people really bothers me. And the way that the idea of it can create unhealthy patterns in people, I'm not fond of that either. So I am not here to say that whatever your situation is, that you don't have one or that it doesn't exist. You know that. I don't. And also on top of that, I will say I will not be referring or using that term. I've used twin-like terms in the past because when the matters show itself, and like I do think these things are real. I just don't really like to talk about it on like a literal level, because I think people can get very narrow-minded about what that means and what it looks like, and to the point where it's just like you lose sight of the fact that you're like a human living a earthly experience. That being said, I do feel like this message to you came through because your spirit is at one place okay, let me say it this way. Your spirit is wanting to move forward, and the rest of you is feeling stuck, overwhelmed, unsure, uncertain, and really confused by what you should do. Well, I'll tell you right now, the first thing that you need to do is get back in the driver's seat of your own fucking life. You know what I see here? I see a lot of other people and a lot of other opinions about your life, but I don't really see you in this. That's a problem. And not only is that a problem, but I would say especially if you are someone that does have a twin or that type of connection, and you have been obsessing over it or thinking about it a lot, or like wondering like where they are or what's going on. The biggest and most important message I have is they have a grip over your consciousness because you've been neglecting yourself and neglecting your own neglecting your own agency, neglecting your own power, and neglecting the reality that you are more than one connection, and also you are more than the labels, definitions, boxes, and roles society, the world, and people want to box you into. Now, for some of you, I feel like you've met someone really wonderful who is not who's not a part of this connection. And I think you might feel trapped and stuck and confused and be like, am I allowed to pursue this, or will it mess something up with this person? If you have like a divine connection with someone and they're not in your life and you're considering moving forward with someone else, number one, you're totally allowed to do that. Number two, you're not a bad person. And number three, if you are meant to be with someone else, things will unfold the way they will and the way that they need to. The fact that I see this Three of Wands here, I feel like you are trying to plan your life out and anticipate what is going to happen and act strategically as a result. And I feel like there's also a part of you that's maybe leaving space for someone else, for someone, you know, in your heart that you may have a connection to take it. When in reality, you give them far more consideration than you give yourself. And not only that, I think you give societal opinions more consideration. I think you're giving my opinion more consideration. The fact, I guarantee you, some of you are watching this and you felt ashamed or bad about what I just said about twins and stuff like that. None of that is about you. I don't think anyone is, like I said, like, they're real, they exist. I'm not saying that. I just don't like all the bullshit that comes with it, you know? And you know what I'm talking about when I say that. And I'm not trying to keep people in loops of yearning or keep people stuck when we're all meant to grow and have human experiences. These connections, more than anything, have spiritual utility. Like, that is the main point. What you and them do on this plane, up to two people's free will, up to things that are beyond my scope, beyond our conscious understanding. We don't always understand why things are happening the way that they are. But one thing I will say is that you did not come here to live and align to outdated traditional templates about what love and relationships need to look like. Another thing, if you have a divine connection with someone and you're being pushed into a relationship with someone you don't love or don't have feelings for, an arranged situation or something where you are feeling a lot of pressure to settle down, or, you know, be with someone specifically because they get a lot of approval or because they have some sort of status, you are going to be miserable in that situation. I'm just telling you right now. If you are considering getting into something, not because you want to be there, but because you want the approval of your peers, or you want someone to get off your back and get off your case, or you feel pressured or worried, take a step back. I feel like I'm being really aggressive at you. And like, I'm not trying to be aggressive. Like, I feel like there's a lot of aggressive energy around you, and maybe that's why it's hard, but that aggressive energy, it's not aggressive because it's wanting to tear you down. It's aggressive because it wants you to stand up and roar back. Like, you're a bear, bro. Like, you can roar back. You can say no. You don't have to sit and take other people's bullshit, even mine, okay? My personal feelings about, you're allowed to be offended by what I say and what I think. Doesn't mean that I'll agree or change what I'm doing. I'm living my life. You're living yours. That's the point. That's kind of this great cosmic dance we're all in. But I see you trying to anticipate. It's like you're holding your present life back right now, trying to anticipate a future that you're not even sure you want, or you don't even know what it looks like. And I think in your heart of hearts, you know what you really want. I think you're just afraid you're not worthy of it, afraid it won't happen, or afraid of what you may need to let go of, or what barriers or protections you may have now that you may lose as a result of following this. And I feel like these barriers and protections are not things that are for your safety. I think they're for your control. And I don't know if you realize that or not. There's a big message here that you have moved beyond a phase of life where you play it small, where you hide and hold back, and where you keep yourself waiting and perfect for the perfect time and the right person to just come in. You may already know who the right person is. Or maybe there's multiple right people. You don't have to end up with a specific connection just because of the spiritual intensity of it. There's a big message here about the fact that you are giving everything but your own free will and agency a seat at the table. And that's why you're frozen. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're overwhelmed. And that's why your spirit is screaming at you and your inner world feels chaotic and uncomfortable. Your inner world is saying, hey, please listen to us. And this clear quartz card is here to really say that the voices, opinions, and perspectives you amplify are the ones that are going to feel more real to you. And so there's definitely a call here. There's a call, C-A-L-L, to cull, C-U-L-L. The voices, opinions, insights, and perspectives of people of people you know and strangers that have more of an opinion about your life than you do. Okay? Including myself. If the whole thing I'm saying, you're like, no, that's not true. No, that's not my truth. Then you needed this reading to tell you to affirm what it is you need to know. Affirm that fucking truth, dude. I'm not here to tell you how it is. I'm here to tell you that you already know how it is. And if you don't know how it is, that's what you're supposed to know. You're not supposed to be living for a future trajectory that you're hoping to get. You need to be living now and recognize that all will unfold as it will. And especially when it comes to divine connections and things like that, it doesn't really matter how you try to force things. A lot of times divine will have its way whether you want it to or not. And it'll be more perfect and more and better than you could ever imagine. And it will still happen if you're not hyper focusing or fixating on that point or on some future point that you want to be at, and instead just start living your life now. You're allowed to date people. You're allowed to explore. You're allowed to live beyond a narrow scope that you think you need. Like, you don't need to walk a tightrope out of fear that if you fall, you'll lose everything. If you do have a connection like this, it's not going anywhere. I promise you. I promise you it's not going anywhere. The hard thing about these connections is that time is the real metric of what you're dealing with. And there can be a lot of intense connections that fizzle and dissipate and you realize are not what you thought they were. That doesn't make you dumb. That doesn't make you bad. That doesn't make you wrong. It's just life. And I think that's one reason why I have beef with those terms, is because I think that they can give people ideas or fears that, oh, well, then if they're not that, then things can't work out, or I only want this. Like, when everybody's unique, everybody's different, and who are we to judge, what the spiritual nature of our bond should be? You're not, what I can say though is that you're not here to live an earthly template that stifles your spirit and keeps you crushed. I'll tell you right now that if you make a decision from a place of wanting to please others or wanting to get someone off your back, you are going to regret it. And you're gonna beat yourself up about it, because I know you enough to know that you're not gonna blame anyone else but yourself. And you're gonna assume it was your fault. And sure, there would be things that were your fault. You said yes and didn't listen to yourself. That's self-betrayal. But on top of that though, I think that there are quite invasive influences in your life. Like the fact that I feel like, I'm thinking about the fact that I feel so comfortable being candid with you and telling you things that I probably wouldn't say in most readings. And it's because I respect you enough to be honest with you about what I'm seeing. And also, you are strong enough to receive these messages. I don't even think this is a negative reading. I think just the reality is that you've been amplifying forces that want to take you away from yourself and destroy your self-connection and sovereignty. And I don't think that these forces are inherently malicious, but I do think that these forces are codependent on your focus and your energy and your acceptance and your subservience to them so that they don't have to be destabilized. Why is their stabilization more important than yours? And why is their stabilization acceptable when it is inherently destabilizing to others? Isn't true stabilization good for everyone? I'll tell you what right now. I'm hearing Princess Diana in my head, in that interview where she's talking about 3 being in a marriage and it being quite crowded. If someone has an extreme amount of influence over your life now, don't expect that to change once you do get into a relationship. There are things that you are ready to close out and be done with, and you know that, and just the uncomfortable thing is, well, I don't know what's going to happen afterwards as a result. Bro, I promise you, whatever happens afterwards as a result is infinitely better than where you're at now. Like with this Eight of Swords here, you are not trapped. The universe is not holding you back. The universe is not torturing you. If anything, the universe is using every cue it has in its disposal to get you to reorient your perspective back to you. They are a reflection of yourself. Everything right now is a reflection back to you. And your internal world is screaming at you, being like, please pay attention to me. You love yourself. You just have love for others too that may not have the healthiest state of mind. And I will tell you right now that if a divine connection with someone, they're not in a healthy state of mind, the unconditionally loving thing is not putting yourself in their periphery and dealing with that nonsense. A lot of times the most loving thing is to take a step back. I'm not saying that that's the case or the circumstances, but there is a message here that you're ready to move forward and close out a cycle where destructive and fearful forces and controlling forces are louder than your own sovereignty, sense of self, empowerment, sense of purpose, and recognition that you deserve to just live your life and not be trying to figure everything out for yourself so you don't make the wrong decision. Buddy, you've been making wrong decisions left and right. Every single time you have the opportunity to go within and listen to yourself, you listen to someone else that doesn't know your life, doesn't know what they're talking about, doesn't have the wisdom to treat you with the respect and dignity and autonomy you deserve to be treated with. And then you wonder why you're unhappy, like listening to them and giving them that much airtime. Stop doing it. Literally, like turn the volume down, like put some headphones in. Like I'm thinking of that Tyler the Creator tweet where he's like, why is cyberbullying a thing? Like just close your eyes. I know that's like callous and not nice, and like cyberbullying is a thing, and closing your eyes doesn't just like fix it or make it go away, but it does help, right? Like, yeah, people are gonna be loud and angry about everything. You don't have to listen to it like all the time. Like it's at least in the States, like, you know, the media will come out with some shit and I'm like, I just roll my eyes and I'm like, okay, this is what they want people to be mad about now, and I don't listen because it's all crap and stupid anyway. It's meaningless. They're taking like 3 people from Twitter and they're being like, the public thinks this. The public is not Twitter. And the general opinions that are dictating how you live your life do not know you, do not have the ability to give you the helpful guidance you need. You have that. And part of your journey right now is coming back to yourself and realizing that a lot of misery has not been your fault, but it has been about you learning that it is on you to say no, to choose differently, to set boundaries. And you're learning that. Okay, it takes time. And especially when we have family dynamics, you know, and also different cultural systems. Like I understand that, like, culturally speaking, you know, family can have a greater impact or a greater influence over how you behave or like what you do. I understand that. That doesn't mean you have to accept it. That doesn't mean that you have to live by that. I mean, like, you can. But it's also like, maybe that's part of your path and part of your journey is challenging those around you to grow with you. And if they can't, then maybe they need to stay on the sidelines until they can be loving and supportive of you again. I'm only being this aggressive, well, because this is the energy that's coming through. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't hate it because I do kind of love getting into my Aries energy, but it's just like, the biggest message you need to hear is that your love life is not something to figure out and act according to until it manifests in front of you physically in the way that you pictured it. your love life is much bigger than that. And clearly, if you have this type of connection in your life, whether you're seeing someone else or not, you're going to learn the things you need to in the time that makes sense. And one thing about this connection, these types of connections, is that every single one is unique. You know, you can't compare yourself to other people's connections. And also, I think it's more beneficial to take the spiritual components out of it, because it can almost be hard to think about it in realistic worldly terms, what it might look like. They're still a person. Like, even a person that you are cosmically and spiritually tied to beyond this lifetime, like, their spirit's still connected to a body and a person who is flawed, just like you. I think that if you're going to lean into this idea of that type of connection, lean into the reality of what it is and what it is at its root. Love and unity consciousness. You cannot control how other people think or how other people see things, but you can control what you do. And I know you know these things, but you're beating up against that really uncomfortable threshold between staying in your comfort zone and making the necessary changes you need to for your own liberation and empowerment. And you know that the biggest thing that you just need to say is no. You don't even need to explain yourself. You can just start saying no. Your healing now is not about you fixing yourself. It's about realizing that what other people are trying to fix in you are not things that you need to fix, but rather things you need to learn to release and set better boundaries with. I think you're getting there, but I will be, like, to be fair, especially if there's like an overbearing mother figure, like, that's a challenge and a half. I'm not going to tell you how to handle that or what to do. I feel like that's part of your journey, though. And I will say that, like, you are the biggest, well, no, I don't want to say that, because that's not necessarily true. You don't need to know what is for you, because right now I think this time is about the fact that you know what isn't for you, and you're not saying no to it out of whatever reason that may be. And I think the biggest shifts, the biggest healing, and the experiences that you're seeking already, connection, devotion, understanding, empowerment, freedom, safety, protection, all of that is already here. And the universe is showing you what forces are trying to take you out of that state. You know how to be in that state, but it becomes really challenging to maintain that state as soon as a bulldozing force comes in and you revert back to old patterns, and then you just accept something that is unacceptable, and then you feel like you can't say no. You can say no. You can change your mind at any time. Consent can be revoked at any time. You can say no to a dynamic, to a way of being at any time. It doesn't have to make sense to other people. It doesn't have to be acceptable to them. What matters is, though, is that it's what's best for you. Because I think there's a big lesson in love right now around what's unconditionally loving to you. And another focus on, you've been using love readings and love messages as a way to cope with your present and fantasize about a future that is meant to come, but you're keeping it in the future because you don't want to deal with your present. And your present is what's blocking that future from being possible. And so the universe is really saying you cannot expect to move forward until certain people are put on hold and you get back in the driver's seat of your own life. I don't care if you don't have a driver's license. This is metaphorical. You don't need one. Although if you don't have one, maybe stay off the roads if you want to drive a motor vehicle. But point being, the union you are looking for cannot happen if you are out of touch with yourself. This Four of Wands being on the back of the deck, and literally look what's underneath it. It's the Hermit. And underneath that is the Knight of Cups. And you want to know what's underneath the Knight of Cups? The Ten of Cups. Okay? Emotional fulfillment for you, and also just Like, the type of future that you dream of having is accessible to you. But the people around you do not have more wisdom than you about how to get there. And I'd be willing to bet the people that have such strong opinions, I'd be willing to bet they don't have the greatest of circumstances themselves. It's maybe partially why they are controlling, is because they want to ensure that that doesn't happen to you. Or they want to protect you from being in a situation that they don't have control over you in, because then how can they protect you? But I think that whoever this is, they don't understand the difference between smothering and protecting, between holding someone back and keeping them safe. The hardest thing in this connection that you're ever going to do is put yourself first. And the thing is like, that's so much harder in theory than it is in practice, because the more you get in the practice of doing it, the better you feel, the more things unfold in ways that work in your favor, and the more you realize you had the power all along. You just now have the tools to not give it away or believe that you're unworthy of holding your own. You're an adult. And if you're like, that's not true, I'm not an adult, then you shouldn't be here. And I'm being aggressive towards you specifically because you should be going and having fun and not worrying about this. You've got the rest of your life to deal with that stuff. Like, go be chaotic and fun and just have fun. And I think for all of you, go be chaotic and have fun. I think there's been way too much serious energy in your life. If you listen to Sirius XM radio, pay attention to a song coming on that might be a message for you. But also Sirius, like the star, could be significant. I think there's like 2. I don't know. Anyway, you have been living life in a serious manner, and I think you've lived your life for others instead of living it for yourself. And you've probably labored under the idea of, well, I'm living my life for them because they're the ones that gave me life. Okay. Just because 2 people gave you life doesn't mean you owe them anything else. And I know that that is very rich for me to say as an American girl in an American culture, because it's different culturally. However, I would say this is one of the few things that we've kind of, I think this is one of the few things we're kind of right about. I don't think that we automatically owe people things. I know that I love to be around I love to be around my family because they're respectful of me, because we're respectful of each other. We honor each other's agency and sovereignty and humanity. Family is not an excuse to dehumanize someone, belittle someone, or bully someone. And if that is a situation that you're in, they are not entitled to your presence or to your understanding, or really even to your forgiveness if you don't want to give it. They are not entitled to an explanation. They're not entitled to really anything. You can choose to give that in your own time if you want to. But I think if you are on like a twin journey and it's something that's really important to you, your person is not the focus. You are the focus. And I bet you $100. I bet you $100, 100 smackaroos, 100 clams, that the minute you start reorienting inward and start listening to yourself and start saying no when your body screams at you to, you start seeing changes that blow your mind. And also, the thoughts of them, the yearning for them, massively dissipates, because it wasn't them that you were truly yearning for, it was yourself. And however they show up in your world remains to be seen. Who knows? All I do know is that the change that you're looking for in that situation is not going to happen until this is dealt with. Because really all it's doing is trying to get you to look back at yourself. You know, you can look in a mirror and get pissed at the mirror for what it's showing you, but nothing in the mirror is going to change unless you do. The mirror is just reflecting back what's there. And I think what's being reflected at you is that you have ascended beyond where life is trying to keep you. love is not trying to keep you there. Your guides are not trying to keep you there. Very real, physical, human beings and societal structures and cultural expectations are keeping you there. And guess what? People change, societies change, cultures change. Nothing is ever in a place of stasis. Yes, there are much stronger cultural traditions that can be passed down over time. I'm not saying that everything needs to be thrown away, but you know, some cultural traditions are worthy of criticism, in my opinion. And I think just because something belongs to you doesn't mean you have to accept it, hold on to it. You're allowed to just to distill what works for you based on whether it actually works for you or not, whether it uplifts you and it makes you feel more connected to your humanity, you know, to your lineage, to your home. And if it doesn't, nix it. You don't need to keep it. And if other people don't get it, that's their problem. Either they get it. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't. People who truly love you won't demand won't demand explanations and have expectations of how you need to be or how you need to show up. And the next message that I have is that once you start reconnecting to your power, that's where your focus needs to lie. Because I promise you, reconnecting to your power is not going to change how certain people behave overnight or if at all. But changing your response to them can heavily protect the energies you're cultivating. And where you place your focus expands. So if you're focused on what's frustrating you or what's not working, that's going to get bigger. But if you're focused on your inner world, your sense of power, what isn't in your control, that feeling is going to expand. With this clear quartz here, it's an amplifier of whatever is. So not only is there this call for you that it's time to kind of cleanse and especially specifically clear out stuff in your life, in your home, in your room that's connected to an outdated version of you that you don't resonate with. Even if there's sentimental feelings attached to it, I mean, like, not everything, especially there's like sentimental loving feelings attached to it, but like I think that there's a lot of things that you're ready to let go of, that you won't even miss, that you won't even remember you had once you do let go of them. But the energy attached to them could be actually influencing your decisions and could be making it feel more challenging, or literally make it more challenging for you to start stepping into decisions that empower you, because just the path of least resistance is just so strong. So all of this is really to say that you're not trapped, and that any assumptions about what the future holds for you, I think, are useless. Because they're not serving you. If anything, they're bringing you more stress and more fear and causing you to be attached to an outcome that you don't even know if you want or not. I think the outcome you should be shooting for is whatever is aligned with your highest good and the highest good of all. And who knows what that looks like. You probably have an idea of what it looks like, but I don't even think you'd be able to picture how wonderful it could be unless you're living it. And so I think that's another reason why Spirit is kind of trying to get your focus off of a fixed point in the future and what you want that fixed point to look like. Because I think the plan Spirit has for you is far grander than you realize. And that plan can't happen if you're not on the team. You know? So this is not happening in spite of you or despite you. This is a co-creation, and this is meant to happen with you. This is why you're here on this earthly plane. And I think actually one of the things that you're meant to contend with and come up against is societal, social, cultural challenges and how they don't fit with your spiritual integrity or with your consciousness and with your perspective. And I think part of your journey and part of your challenge is, number one, learning to accept those that don't understand, learning to accept the fact that not saying you have to accept others that don't understand. I would say, based on this video, like, if you resonate at that consciousness, you probably do accept other people despite what they can't understand, which is beautiful. I love that. Not that you need my validation, though. I think maybe I shouldn't have even said anything. You are here to learn how to ground that wonderful, expansive consciousness you have and make it work in the 3D in ways that allow for more expansion in those areas where there are issues, to create expansion culturally, societally, and even within your family around what personhood can look like, what humanity can look like, what a person with your unique experiences, your unique background, and you know, just your unique perspective, how they can choose to live. There's so much goodness, like, that's already here that I feel like you can't see because a lot of it is within you. And I think actually some of the people that may try to tear you down or may try to make you feel like less than or not worthy, they are the ones that see that goodness and are threatened by it. It's not your job to show them that they have that goodness within them. It's up to them. And maybe that's a pathway that you can follow in the future. But I think that if you're looking for an easy, cut and dry answer that just makes everything make sense, I think you're gonna be disappointed, because I think that you're on a pathway where you're holding a lot of opposites, where you're holding a lot of things that need to be more nuanced, where this and that are true, and where things have to coexist instead of, you know, fitting them into binaries or fitting them into like specific boxes. Like, you're not here to be in a box. You're not here to live an idea of a life or live a template that's already been lived. You're here to be a pioneer in terms of like new ways of living, infusing, you know, your history, your background with you, with your future oriented perspective, with what you're here to build and grow. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is just start honoring the impulses that tell you that something is not for you and letting the rest figure itself out. You don't need to know the solutions. You know the problems. And I think you know what solutions there are to those problems. They just may not be the solutions you like because they might be really uncomfortable. But that's life, baby. That's life. What's more uncomfortable? You know, watching life pass you by and not taking an active role in it, or living and being willing to take those risks so that when you look at the end of your life, when you're at the end of your life, you can look back and say, like, I lived and I don't have regrets. Who knows who will be by your side and who knows what will change. What I can say, though, is that nothing is going to change if you don't. And the thing is you've already, like, it's not even that you need to change, like, your core essence. Like, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. What needs to change is how you express that essence and how you protect it. And what needs to change is how much you value yourself, because I think you deserve to value yourself more than you do. And like, it does kind of make me angry to think that you could even believe for a second that you're not worthy of love and compassion and of being valued for who you authentically are. There's nothing better that you could do for your connection than that. Union can't happen without you. I was about to say there's no I in union, but yes, there is. But there's also a you. There's an I and a you. So it's time to redirect, because you know what's meant for you. You know what's best for you. The challenge is that you can't really sit down and explain those things because they're kind of unexplainable and you don't even fully understand them. You just know what you know. And that's all you need to know. And the only other thing you need to know is that it's safe to say the word no. And you should start protecting that which is sacred to you by being careful what you share with others, because unfortunately just not everyone will be supportive. And I feel like the less information you give others, the more empowered you will feel to do what's right, because you won't be bombarded by other people's opinions. And even if they're, and here's the thing, like, most people are well-meaning, right? They are wanting to do what's best for us, but it's also about them too. Like, sometimes if people are truly being well-meaning, they'll know just to shut their mouths or be supportive, but they can't help themselves. So then it's up to you to put the kibosh on that and not feel like you have to listen to it. And that's going to be uncomfortable, but you will move through it. And I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it will be. And at some point, it will be so second nature, you'll look back and wonder how it was so hard to begin with. Don't underestimate that it is a challenge to reassert yourself and stand in your own power after a life of people pleasing. But you cannot be a people pleaser and be in union. I'll tell you that right now. And in fact, if you want to be in union, get in touch with yourself. That's what union looks like for you right now. The idea of union evolves as you do. And I would say, if you can't even picture union with this person at this point, that should be an answer in of itself as to like why it's so important to redirect your own energy back to you. Don't look to the past for answers. Don't look to the past as evidence for what the future will be. Look within yourself and know that you have what you need to get to destinations even better than you can imagine. And you don't have to get there by making sacrifices and concessions and waiting. You do it by getting in the driver's seat, like I said, of your own life and just doing the dang thing every day and choosing you. Choose you every day. There are going to be small moments every day where you can choose yourself. Choose you. You know, I'll give you an example. Actually, no, I won't. You know what I'm talking about. So to summarize all this, this may not be the most romantic message in the world, but the lesson you're learning in love right now is more powerful and meaningful than any romantic gesture ever could be. And I think you're gonna even look back and see certain gestures, not necessarily to you, but just in general, certain grand gestures in romantic contexts, and realize like, oh, I don't even want that, or oh, I feel like that's not even really rooted in love. It seems like it's rooted in ego. Or I feel like you're going to be looking at love very differently when you're on the other side of this. But know that like, you were brought to this reading for a reason. And thank you for being like, I guess I was going to say thank you for being gentle with me, because like I don't really remember what I say in these readings, and it really is just coming from the heart. But like, I was very frank with this one, so I would understand if you guys are upset, but honestly at the same time I don't regret it, and I stand by what I've said. You're allowed to be upset with me, but I only do it because I care and I want what's best for you. Same as the other people that are telling you what to do. At least what I'm telling you what to do is not something that is against you. I'm telling you to listen to yourself because you know what you need. Redirect your focus to that and not to what you don't know, and not fears of what ifs. Because I think honestly too, if your biggest fear of following this path is looking stupid or being judged by certain people, I really don't think you have anything to lose. Like, I promise you, you'll be fine. Like, you'll be fine. You build the future of your dreams by focusing on your present, and you can't focus on your present if you're not present with yourself. So, I've never read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. I probably should. but that might be a useful book for you because it's coming through. But I really do think, like, living in the past and living in the future, I feel like you're bouncing between the two. And the universe is like, whoa, buddy, we just want you to be focused on the present. Because that's where the gifts are, that's where the blessings are, and that's where the power to have control and the power to shift things is. And you have that power. You've always had that power. You just have to accept that with that power and choosing yourself will sometimes mean disappointing people, even people that love and care about us. But that's okay. You're allowed to disappoint people that you love and that love you. It's human. Whew. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this reading off with a guidance card. I feel like that's really what's best for you guys. I'm not going to tune into anything like in terms of your person, because it's not about your person right now. And the more you tune into that, the further away you'll get from yourself. And especially if your person is struggling, I think that it could really make you feel like things are hopeless. And they're not. There's actually so much hope it will blow your mind, but I don't think you're going to start to sense the hope until you have hope in yourself that you can change. And it's, once again, it's not about you changing. Like, can I just also say, like, you don't need to change in order to be loved. You just need to change what you accept from others and like how you interact with people and what you share. And it's all changing it, and all these changes are not to change who you are. It's to change the likelihood that you could change, like, it's to change who has access to your time and energy, who it is safe to be vulnerable around, to change who has power over you or how much power you give away, because you have so much of it. I'm actually feeling called to get a specific deck, so I am going to go get that. Because I did, for like everybody else, I did get one deck. And to be fair too, you guys did get a bit of a reaming. So, a reaming with love, but a reaming nonetheless. I'm going to pull a card from the Ancient Egypt Oracle and just see what advice it has for you. So for group number 3, please, Spirit, what guidance do you have for my group 3s when it comes to their life in general and their love life? We have Newt with separation, so that's probably very fitting. And look at me, pre-censoring the titty. Ugh, proud of myself there. Okay. All right, let me find it. Sometimes it is necessary to separate things. Even though it may not bother us much at first, chaos and disorder are harmful to us in the long run, especially for our minds and efficiency. If you look inside yourself, you can just feel you should now create order. Everything in life has its place. Everything has its time. We have to clean up and separate to create space and energies that would otherwise be eaten up by disorder. Whether this concerns our professional area, our desk space may look like we need to urgently take care of because we can't find what we need, or our general decision-making abilities. I would highlight that for you because you are capable of making good decisions. It's just hard for you to do that because it's really uncomfortable sometimes to make the good decision when you know you're going to disappoint other people. The time is now to create new structures, even if it feels overwhelming when we start. With every part that finds its rightful place again, we gain more momentum and motivation, piece by piece, step by step, stone by stone. This also applies to our interpersonal matters. Everything must have its order. We all have our own needs, and it's important to respect them. It is beautiful to be in a relationship and merge as a couple, but we also must maintain our individuality and remember who we really are. And that's one reason why things like, especially in like a divine connection or things like that, are not going to move forward until you have a greater sense of self, because you could just be absolutely consumed by the energy and lose yourself. And that's not what that's about. That's not good or loving to either of you. If you forget to think about yourself and do everything to please your partner and tweak everything to accommodate them, you will feel empty at some point and possibly feel like you've lost your identity. Only when we care for ourselves can we be the wonderful partner we want to be. You cannot pour from an empty cup. We also need to give our partners the necessary space to be who they truly are. This also applies to good friends and all other connections we hold with other people. Be yourself and let others be authentically themselves too. For this is how we appreciate people when we get to know them. We are all wonderful in our own unique ways. And yeah, so this is really saying like, to create union elsewhere, you need to create separation with what's keeping you from yourself. Period. Okay. Other card time. Spirit, what other guidance do you have for group number 3 when it comes to... Okay, we have portals, and I'm going to note that we have the number 14, which is divine masculine energy. I would really look into like divine masculine energy as a concept, because like yang energy, because that's really going to help you set those boundaries and make good decisions for yourself. The Emperor, so Emperor energy, okay? The Emperor does not change what he is doing because someone's upset about it. The Emperor does not care if people are upset or not. The Emperor does what's best for his empire and everyone in it, if it's upright. And a lot of times, people that are upset about it, you know, don't even know why or what he's doing. He doesn't have to explain himself. The Emperor knows what's best, and he trusts that. That's why he's on the throne. That's why he's the Emperor. And he does it without any divine connection. So know that you could even come into union the way that you want to without being connected spiritually, because you're never truly disconnected. The thing is, though, is that the things that are holding you back are not a lack of spiritual connection. It's a lack of personal agency and acting. You get it. You get it. Okay. Portals. Look at that sacred union on the other card. On your planet rests many hidden entrances, to which your ancient ones knew of in order to travel and bilocate to locations far beyond the capacity of your current technology. Often found in mountain caves, cenotes, or other access points that point inward, many people were teleported instantaneously across opposite spectrums via these portals. In space, these portals also exist, which many of your scientists refer to as wormholes. These wormholes are well known to starcrafts who utilize them to traverse different parts of the galaxy and enter into alternate universes and dimensional fields with grace. And just as our universe has many locales where space and time is bent beyond normal reality, so too do many doorways exist in oneself to access information and achieve tasks at greater speeds than thought possible. The portals card arrives when the universe is hinting that something you are seeking to accomplish can be done at a much faster rate than what is assumed possible. Within our universe, there is much magic that defies traditional logic. By becoming aware of one's limited beliefs and shifting one's intentions, life can shift rapidly with manifestations occurring with ease and grace. Whatever the case, now is not the time to fear or hold back, but to move forward and allow for the genius of this universe to find you, the wormholes for all results to come to fruition rapidly. Enter this gateway within and don't look back, as we are assisting to bring rapid transformation into your life. The speed is not based on anxiety, but in confidence, trusting in the magic of the universe. Rapidness, time shift, miracles are happening, dreams coming true, gift, abundance, prosperity, speed. So I don't think I could be, and look at how these cards literally like mirror each other. So I don't think I could be any more clear that like, you're not waiting for a date on the calendar. Like, you're waiting for yourself to just say no. No to the negative thoughts that say things can't happen. No to the idea that your value diminishes because you exist longer or because you're a human being. Like, whatever the case may be, you are light, you are love. Honor these truths. Take action that honors these truths, and watch magic like transform, because I promise you there's a lot of help here. And with this World card, that is all about the endings of cycles, and you're ready to end this cycle, and you're ready to enter a new beginning where you are at the forefront of your decisions and you are at the forefront of what's important to you, not people that just wish to have control over you for their own comfort and safety. So, group number 3. Thank you for being patient with me as I got this message out, and thank you for being kind to me. But if you're not, I understand. I came in a little hot. I will accept the consequences of that. But thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, at least for the first 30 seconds. I don't expect you to watch it though. Like, just mute it and think about all the ad dollars you're giving to me and wasting on that company by letting it play and ignoring it and processing all this lovely stuff that I'm telling you. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. I have a second channel. You can check that out. You can check out merch, social media, all that good stuff's linked down below. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. Believe it or not, I do love you very much. And so that's why I came in this frank, because you deserve to hear the truth. And the truth is that you are much badder than you are giving yourself credit for. So it's time to step into your baddiness and be the bad bitch or bad sir or whatever that you can be. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is that you're watching. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye.